Hello friend, myself Vinod Shigre. In last lecture, we studied what is meant by air transportation, what are the characteristics of air transportation, what is the classification of airport, what are the advantages and disadvantages of air transport, then basic terms related with airport and objectives of airport planning. Today we see components of airport. The main components of airport are: first is runway, then terminal building, third apron, fourth taxiway, fifth aircraft stand, sixth hangar, seven control tower, and last is parking. We see runway in detail. It is the most important part of an airport in the form of paved long and narrow rectangular strip which actually used for landing and takeoff operation of aircraft. It has grassy shoulders on both sides. The width of runway and area of shoulders is called the landing strip. The runway is located in the center of landing strip. The length of landing strip is somewhat larger than the runway strip in order to accommodate the stopway to stop the aircraft in case of abundant takeoff. The length and width of runway should be sufficient to accommodate the aircraft which is likely to be served by it. The length of runway should be sufficient to accelerate the aircraft to the point of takeoff and should be enough such that aircraft clearing the threshold of runway by 15 meter should be brought to stop with the 60% of available runway length. The length of runway depends on various meteorological and topographical conditions. Transverse gradients should not be less than 0.5% but should always be greater than 0.5%. Next is terminal buildings. Terminal buildings, also known as airport terminals. These buildings are the spaces where passengers board or alight from flights. These buildings house all the necessary facilities for passengers to check in their luggages, clear the customs, and have to wait before takeoff. The terminals can house cafes and bars to serve as waiting areas for passengers. Ticket counters, luggage check-in or transfer, security checks and customs are the basics of all airport terminals. Then hangars. A hangar is a closed building structure to hold aircraft, spacecraft or tanks in protective storage. Most hangars are built of metal but other materials such as wood and concrete are also used. Hangars are used for protection from the weather, direct sunlight, maintenance, repair, manufacture, assembly and storage of aircraft on airfield aircraft carrier. Next is Aprons. Aircraft aprons are the areas where the aircraft park. Aprons are also sometimes called ramps. They vary in size from areas that may hold 5 or 10 small planes to the very large areas that the major airports have. Next is taxiway. Taxiway is the paved way, rigid or flexible, which connects runway with loading aprons or service and maintenance hangars or with another runway. They are used for the movement of aircraft on the airfield for various purposes such as exit or landing, exit for takeoff, etc. The speed of aircraft on taxiway is less than during taking off or landing speed. The taxiway should be planned. The taxiway should be laid on such a manner to provide the shortest possible path and to prevent the interference of landed aircraft taxiing towards loading apron and the taxiing aircraft running towards the runway. The intersection of runway and taxiway should be given proper attention because during turning operation this part comes under intense loading. If it is weaker then the aeroplanes may fall down from taxiway. Its longitudinal grade should not be greater than 3%, while its transverse gradient should not be less than 0.5%. It is also provided with a shoulder of 7.5 meter width paved with bituminous surfacing. The taxiway should be visible from a distance of 300 meter to a pilot at 3 meter height from the ground. Next is aircraft stand, a portion of an apron designed as a taxiway and intended to provide access to aircraft stands only. Next one is control tower, a tower at an from airfield from which air traffic is controlled by radio and observed physically and by radar. And last is parking. Parking is a specific area of airport at which vehicles park. Next point is aircraft characteristics. Following are the 7 essential parts of an aeroplane. First one is engine, flaps, fuselage, propeller, 3 controls, tricycle, undercarriage, and last is wings and tail. The all parts or components of aircraft are shown in figure. We see all the components in detail. First component is engine. This is the main component of the aircraft. Engine can be divided into piston engine, jet engine and rocket engine, in which jet engine are also classified in turbojet, turbo propulsion and ramjet. First of all, we see piston engine. This is a conventional type of aircraft engine, operates at low altitude and with moderate speeds, that is 500 to 800 km per hour. The aircraft is provided with gasoline fed engine which is driven by a propeller. The engine rotates a shaft with a huge torque, and the torque so developed is absorbed by the propeller mounted on the shaft. When the rated speed is attained by the propeller, large quantity of air is hurled rearwards or backwards, which pulls the aircraft forward and creates lift on the wings. Next type is jet engine. The jet engine is classified in turbojet, turbopropulsion, and ramjet. In turbojet, to start the machine, a compressor is rotated with a motor. As the compressor gains its speed, it sucks in air through the air intake and compresses it in the compression chamber. The air fuel mix is ignited in the chamber. When the air fuel mix burns, the expanding gases pass through fan like blades of the turbine. The hot exhaust gases escape with high velocity through the tail pipe, which is tempered at the end, giving a forward thrust to the engine. The exhaust gases come out of the tail pipe at a speed of 1600 km per hour, and such speed of exhaust gases push the plane with speed up to 800 km per hour. Turbojets has a lower performance ratio at moderate altitude than at high altitude. Next step is turbo propulsion. The performance of turbo propulsion aircraft is similar to that of turbojet, except that a propeller is provided in it. The turbine in the turbo propeller extract enough power. Its performance is equally satisfactory in low and high altitude as compared to turbojet engine. Turbo engines may acquire speeds up to 1280 to 2400 km per hour. Next part of the aircraft is component of aircraft is propeller. Propeller is provided in the piston engine as well as the turbo propeller engine. It has two or more blades which are driven round in a circular path. The blades deflect the air backwards with acceleration, and thus forward thrust is imparted to the airplane. Next one is fuselage. Main body structure. All other components are attached to it. It contains cockpit or flight deck, passenger compartment, and cargo compartment. Produces a little lift but can also produce a lot of drag. The fuselage must possesses the following characteristic. First one is it is shaped to a fine point at the rear end, and it should not be too fine so as to make it unable to resist twisting stresses due to the wind. And second is it should have enough depth for strength, but it should not be very deep, because in that case the side area may become very large, which is undesirable for safety and efficiency. Next component part is wings and tail planes. The wings provides necessary force to lift the aircraft and to support and stabilize the aircraft while in air. Wings contain very important parts such as slats, flaps, and spoilers. Also carries the fuels. The wings are designed so that the outer tips of the wings are higher than where the wings are attached to the fuselage, called the dihedral angle. It helps keep the airplane from rolling unexpectedly. The wings have a number of movable parts hinged to which facilitate their functions. They are flaps. Flaps are found at the trailing edge of the wings. The flaps work together with the slats to increase lift. The flaps, when stretched out, increase the surface area of wings, consequently increasing the area of air flow, which is in turn increases lift. Then slats found at the leading edge of the wings. The slats open to facilitate the movement of air from the bottom to the top of the wing to increase the speed of airflow at the top of the wing. This action helps the wings to increase lift. Last one is ailerons. These are found at the trailing edge of the wing. They facilitate the turning of the aircraft from left to right or from right to left. And tail planes. This element is found at the back of the aircraft. It consists of two parts, the vertical part, which is also referred to as the fin, and the horizontal part, which is also referred to as the stabilizer. The stabilizer and the fin both have movable parts which enable movement of the aircraft nose. Next point is aircraft characteristic affecting aircraft design, in which there are 11 points that are engine and propulsion size, aircraft capacity, aircraft speed, minimum turning radius, minimum circling radius, aircraft weight and wheel arrangement, range, noise, takeoff and landing distances, and last is tire pressure and contact area. We see in detail one by one. Size of aircraft depends upon wingspan length, that is a fuselage length, the maximum height, distance between main gears, wheelbase and tail width. Wingspan decide the apron size, taxiway clearance, hangar size, turning radius according to classification. The length of aircraft decides the width of exit taxiway, apron size and length of hangar. The height decides the height of hangars and its gates, and the gear traits and wheelbase affect the minimum turning radius of the aircraft. Next characteristic is aircraft capacity. Aircraft capacity determines the number of passenger, cargo and fuel capacity of aircraft. Next character is aircraft speed. Speed nowadays is measured in Mach number, that is the speed of sound. Piston engines 500 to 800 km per hour. The jet engine, the aircraft speed also depend on jet engine, which is 1200 to 2400 km per hour. Then rocket engines and speed determines the travel time. Speed has nothing to do with planning of airport. It gives an idea of the time of arrival of aircraft. However, approach speed decide runway length. Next character is minimum turning radius. It is necessary to know the minimum turning radius of an aircraft to decide the radius of taxiway and to ascertain its position in the landing apron and hangars. Next character is minimum circling radius. A certain minimum circling radius in space is required for the aircraft to take a smooth turn. It is known as the minimum circling radius. Is depend upon type of aircraft, air traffic volume, weather conditions. The knowledge of minimum circling radius help in separating two nearby airports by adequate distance. For jet planes, it's around 80 km. For other planes, it's around 8 to 15 km. If minimum radius is not provided, it will reduce the airport capacity and adjustment of timing for landing and takeoff of aircrafts between the airports need to be adjusted. Next characteristic is aircraft weight and wheel configuration. It governs the length and thickness of the runway taxiway. It also governs the number of wheels to be provided depending on aircraft weight. The structural design of airport is based on the total load of the aircraft. The weight of the aircraft may be classified into operating empty weight, payload or fuel load. Next one is range. The distance that an aircraft can fly without refueling is called as range. As range increases, payload decreases and vice versa. Next one is noise. This is the big problem in the areas where airports are quite near to the developed area. Efforts are being made to bring it to minimum possible level. The major sources of noises are engine, machinery prominent during landing, primary jet prominent during takeoff, and it causes sleep disturbance, deafness, irritability, and loss of concentration. Next point is factor determining airport catchment area. The need and potential for the development of existing airport or for the construction of new one is determined by a number of internal and external factors. Internal factors involve, among the things, the airport management policy as the economic source of an airport is not only an effect of general air transport development trends but also of the success or failure of the business strategy pursued by airport management. Another key factor is the importance of cooperation between airport managers and local government. The latter should be inserted in airport development given the stimuli to economic growth it generates. Such cooperation is usually based on the fact that the city or the region is often a key shareholder in airport management companies. The cooperation may take the form of involvement of the local government authority in opening and promotion of air connections offered by the airport. Also, the role of local government in managing areas surrounding the airport is important as it has a direct impact on the potential for its undisturbed operation and further development. Next point is criteria for airport site selection and ICAO stipulations. The selection of a suitable site for an airport depends upon the class of airport under consideration. However, if such factors as required for the selection of large facility are considered, the development of the airport by stages will be made easier and economical. The factors listed below are for the selection of suitable site for a major airport installation, that are regional plan, airport use, proximity to other airport, ground accessibility, topography, obstruction, visibility, wind, noise, grading, drainage and soil characteristic, future development, availability of utilities from town, and last one is economic consideration. We see in detail regional plan. The site selected should fit well into the regional plan, thereby forming it an integral part of the national network of airport. Next one is airport use. The selection of site depend upon the use of an airport, whether the civilian or the for military operations. Next one is proximity to the airport. The site should be selected at a considerable distance from the existing airport so that the aircraft landing in one airport does not interfere with the movement of aircraft at other airport. Then ground accessibility. The site should be so selected that it is readily accessible to the user. The airline's passenger is more concerned with his door to door time rather than the actual time in air travel. The time to reach the airport is therefore an important consideration, especially for short haul operation. Next one is topography. This includes natural features like ground contour, trees, trains, etc. A raised ground, a hilltop is usually considered to be an ideal site for an airport. Next one is obstruction. When aircraft is landing or taking off, it loses or gains altitude very slowly as compared to the forward speed. For this reason, long clearance areas are provided on either side of runway, known as approach areas, over which the aircraft can safely gain or lose altitude. Next one is visibility. Poor visibility lowers the traffic capacity of the airport. The site selected should therefore be free from visibility reducing conditions such as fog, smoke, and haze. Fog generally settle in the area where wind blows minimum in a valley. Next one is wind. Runway is so oriented that landing or takeoff is done by heading into the wind should be collected over a minimum period of about 5 years. Next one is grading, drainage and soil character. Grading and drainage play an important role in the construction and maintenance of airport, which in turn influence the site selection. The original ground profile of a site together with any grading operations determines the shape of and airport area and general patterns of the drainage system. The possibility of flood at the valley site should be investigated. Site with high water tables which may require costly subsoil drainage should be avoided. And next one is future development. Considering that the air traffic volume will continue to increase in future, more member of runways may have to be provided for an increased traffic.